If you're anything like me, you will have lots of scraps like this in your stash. But what do you do with them? What can you make that people really want? Well, I am here today to show you what we can do with these scraps to make something that you will enjoy making and the recipient will enjoy receiving. And I've got one here that I've made with Prima Marketing Peachy Tea collection, and it's a little, looks like a little book, but it's actually inside a box, and I've used my scraps of white card and little offcuts of the paper to make these gorgeous little greetings cards. They could be note cards, they could be gift cards that you put on a present, and you can make an envelope that fits in this box. And the little cards themselves are 5.5 centimetres by 7 centimetres. So let's get ahead and I'll show you what we're going to do and how we're going to make this. I'm going to be using the Christmas paper last year from Frank Garcia. Again, it's Prima Marketing, and I think it was called Christmas Sparkle. I can't see on here what it's called. Yes, Christmas Sparkle, sorry. It's quite early in the morning as I'm filming this, and apologies for any shadows that might be being cast. My lighting is not very good, and I'm trying to, you know, film when I can. Yes, so what you will need for this, for the cover, you will need a piece that is 18 centimetres by 9 centimetres, and we're going to score that at 7.5 on the long side, 5, 6, 7.5, and 10.5, and that's going to give us a 3 centimetre spine, which is the depth of our box. And if you were eagle-eyed, you will see that the box was a reinforced box, but we're just going to fold that like so. And what I'm going to do before I go any further, I'm going to put a little bit of red liner tape on the insides of here for my ribbon closure, just to remind myself that I need to put the ribbon down before I put anything else down. So I hope everybody is well. Welcome if you're new here, and welcome if you're a returning viewer. I really appreciate you clicking on this video, and I think that this little make would make an absolutely fantastic little secret Santa gift for an office or a work colleague. It would be a brilliant craft fair make or a stocking stuffer. So then for the box, I've made reinforced boxes on my channel before. You need a piece of card that is 19 centimetres by 20 centimetres, and you will get both of these pieces out of a piece of A4. I appreciate that I said that this was how to use your scraps. We're going to use our scraps for the cards and to decorate, but this only takes one sheet of A4, and we're going to score on all 4 sides at 3 centimetres and 6 centimetres. There we go, and I've just gone round on the other sides already just for time's sake, because I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I want to try and get this edited before I go to theatre train this morning. Then we're going to fold and burnish on all of our score lines. As I say, I hope everybody is well. Thank you to those people who left kind messages explaining what my dizziness might have been last Sunday when I last uploaded. I'm feeling much better, thank you. I did go to work on a Monday, still felt a bit dizzy, but was in exams for quite a large part of the day, so I was sat down, so it wasn't too arduous. And just one more side to fold and burnish. And yes, the card that I made in that video, the recipient loved it. Yeah, there we go. So there we are, we're folded and burnished. Now you need to cut quite carefully on this. I've got my card in kind of a landscape orientation, and I'm going to cut up my vertical lines to the second horizontal line as carefully as I can. So we are going to cut quite a lot of this away. So I'm going to just work on one side at a time. I can cut both of these squares off. And then I'm going to cut about half of that off there. So I'm cutting 1.5 squares away. So we've cut most of that corner off. And we're going to rotate and do the same on this side. And again, cut about half of that away. Turn my card so that I've got what I've cut at the top, and just repeat that process. So if I was really good at editing, what I would do now is shut up talking and fast forward this, but I'm not very good at editing, so I'm just going to carry on drivelling. I'm going to have a little slurp of my tea in a minute. The cat's just come in. She's very happy with her box of packaging, and she's just jumped up onto my paper trimmer. You might see a little bit of her tail in a minute. Right, here we go, cutting this off here. And if you want to make a reinforced box, all you do is, whatever the depth of your box is, you just add that measurement again. So let's say your box is 2 centimetres deep, and you've got to cut your card to, I don't know, 8 by 10. And score at 2 centimetres all the way round. You'd cut your card to 10 by 12 and score at 2 centimetres and 4 centimetres all the way round. That's the cutting done. Just going to notch these little tabs here just to make them easier to fold over. Yes, look, you can see a little bit of a tail there. She's happy because she's been fed early this morning, because I'm up early. Just going to, you could, if you wanted to, slightly notch these outer sections, but I think we'll be all right with what we've got there. And just notch and notch. You can see that I haven't cut very accurately here on these straight lines, but it doesn't matter, because actually you're not going to see these bits. Okay. So I can just get rid of all these little bits. I am getting quite good with saying goodbye to scraps. Those are going to go in my scraps bag to be put in the recycling bin. There we go. Right, just time for a little slurp of tea. Wet the whistle. How are we doing? Oh, not too bad, not too bad. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on these tabs here. And I'm running out of this measurement of red liner tape. You could just as easily use wet glue, but I've got my tape to hand, so I'm going to use that, and it is strong. So I'm just butting it up pretty much to that score line. So any of you watching, do you do craft fairs? I've stopped doing them, to be honest with you. I mean, partly because I work Saturday mornings now, and a lot of craft fairs obviously are on Saturdays, but also it is such hard work. When I used to do them, I did love them. I loved meeting people, and you know, having it, as creators and crafters, we all, you know, our family and friends are always very complimentary of what we make, aren't they? But you think, are they obliged to be, because they're family and friends? Actually, do you know, I've just done a booby there. I just need to add tape to these inner flaps here. So let's just go ahead and do that. Yeah, but it's such a lot of work, you know, the packing the car up and unloading it the other side, and you know, and then packing up at the end of the craft fair and unpacking the car when you get home. And they're quite expensive. I mean, they can be, I mean, decent craft fairs, you pay anything from £30 to, I don't know, the sky's the limit, isn't it? And you might not even make your money back. So, you know, it can be a risk. Yeah, so I've stopped doing them, to be honest with you. But what about you? Do you do craft fairs? I think the last one I did was quite a big one in Leamington. It was in aid of Save the Children, and it was at Leamington Town Hall, which is a lovely big building, and it did get good footfall. I used to do the Saturday and the Sunday. I think it cost me about £80 for the weekend, and I made my money back and a bit more, but really wasn't worth the effort, to be honest with you. Anyway, that's all my tape on, and I'm just going to remove the backing now, and just, can you see, I'm just carefully lining up so that you get almost a seamless join. And these are so satisfying to make, and are really sturdy little boxes. Just put that there like so. We've got one more tab, and then we can do the fun part of decorating. There we go. So now, just to make it easier, just fold these back, rip off this liner. So both of these paper pads that I'm using were design team packages from the lovely Cheryl Simone Crafts. If you don't know her, I will link her down below, and a link to her online shop. I don't think you can get this Christmas sparkle paper anymore because it was last year, but there is something very similar, so I'll see if I can find that on her shop and link that as well. So there you can see we have got quite a professional looking box, and seeing as it's not even 8 o'clock in the morning yet and the sun's not been up very long, I think that we've done all right there. What I don't like about this red liner tape is that it sticks to you, the backing. It's quite staticky, isn't it? Got that in my little rubbish pot on my desk. Right, there we go. So it's not the best box I've made because, as I say, it's early in the morning, but we'll just set that to one side for now. Time for another slurp of tea. And if you're new here, you're very welcome. I would love it if you subscribed, if you're enjoying what I'm doing, and if you want more tips on craft fair makes or Christmas makes. I'm doing this because we're coming up to that dreaded season, aren't we? So this is pretty much my full pack, and these are some pages that I've pulled out and some scraps. So what I want, I want something to decorate the front of my cover. But before I go any further, I am just going to cut some ribbon and stick that down. Now, I'm not very good at tying bows, so I'm cutting 2 pieces that are about 23 centimetres because I need lots of length to tie a decent bow. And I haven't got any white or black ribbon at the moment, so I'm using this cream because it'll blend in really nicely with this soft colour palette. And obviously I'm using Christmas papers, but the idea is to use your scraps, use whatever you've got to hand. So I haven't put my tape all the way to the edge because what I stick down here is going to, I want a little border and I don't want the tape to be showing off this. So we'll just adhere that down there, rip this off here. Now for the cover, you're going to need some scraps. Or, if you haven't got scraps, if you're not a hoarder like me, cut into your good paper. You do you. For the cover, you're going to need 3 pieces that are 7 by 8.5 centimetres. So I'm going to look through scraps here and see if I've got anything that I like. But because, oh, you see, I do like that, but I think it's just going to be too much. because I want to use maybe some of these bits for the front of the box. I mean, this is just gorgeous, isn't it? And I appreciate that this isn't a scrap, but we are going to use scraps. I promise you we are. Have I got any of these that are cut already? Let's have a look. No, no. These little bits could be perfect for the little greetings cards. Ah, yes, you see, I think I'm going to have that on my front cover and maybe that inside. So we'll put that to one side. I have got, oh no, yes, so, okay. It's too much, I think. Oh, but that would be quite nice, maybe, against the reindeers. What else have we got? So I'm just going to hold those because they are probably going to be all right. Christmas chimes, that's the wrong orientation. See, I would have quite liked the spots. Now that might come in for my spine. That's going to come in for a card front. So, okay, so I think I'm going to make an executive decision. We're going to cover our box with these scraps. So I've got my small paper trimmer here. So what did we say? We needed 3 pieces that are 7 by 8.5. So here we go. 7 by 8.5. Oh, that's just almost the right size. How lucky was that? So that's one piece. 7 by 8.5. Oh, cat's meowing now. I don't know why. I think it's because the door to Ella and Molly's bedrooms are closed. That's not going to be quite... Oh, it might be. No. No. So for the spine, you need 2 pieces that are 2.5 by 8.5. So there's that. We can use this. 2.5. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. It's because it's early. And I haven't matched these up. If you wanted to, you could, you know, do your cuts so that the back looks the same. And then just check that that is going to be enough. Yes, it is. And I won't be getting rid of this strip at the top here because that will go in my little strips pot for my gilding flake backgrounds. So let's just chop that there. And then we want 8.5 on here. So that is our covers for our box done. And we will glue these down. I'm going to come in with a bit of this glue if I can get it off. Nearly time to fill this bottle up, I feel. But yeah, I'm doing Christmas here. I'll show you the cards that are in the other box in a minute. But you could do these for any time of year, any occasion. I'll just make sure that that is fairly centered. So we've got a fairly decent border around the edge. And I just love these soft colours. And you could ink around the edges of your paper if you wanted to, but if you're making a lot of these for craft fairs, obviously you want to keep the amount of time that you're spending making them down to a minimum, don't you? I'm not going to stick my box on yet because we're just going to do a little bit of decoration on the box. Try and get that straight. Do you know, I think I have got a problem with my eyes. yeah, I don't think I'm capable of gluing things on straight or cutting things straight. You'll see on some of the cards in the other box in a minute that, yeah, some of the cutting was a little bit suspect. Make sure we've got it the right way up. And just centre it as best you can. Yeah, I've woken up with very tired eyes today. I did have my eyes tested on Wednesday, and there is a change in my prescription, but it's only very slight. And she said if you're coping, just go with it. But I have asked her to order me some contact lenses, so I'm going to try contact lenses again, purely for vanity's sake. As I said in a previous video, I feel old and frumpy, and I think wearing glasses can age you. Obviously it doesn't age everybody, but I don't think I've ever found the right pair of glasses that really suit me. Do you know what I mean? I think, you know, some people look absolutely fantastic in glasses. I'm just not one of those people. Right, there we go. Oh look, I haven't cut that quite right, I don't think. There we go. And of course I've stuck this down because it's got bare tape on it. I'm just going to put that to one side while we find something to mat the sides of our box. So for the box, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 7.5 by 2.5 and 6.5 by 2.5. So I want something contrasting. I mean, that'd be quite nice, but I don't know whether I've got enough of it. See if you've got any that's not wide enough. This looks like it's spotty. Yeah, so I can cut into this. Bring back the paper trimmer. And I'm gonna chop that there to keep the little peppermint image. I'm gonna chop that there to keep that, and just cut that. Hold on, let's think about this. So how big is this? Let's just trim that down to 7.5, because we want to get as much out of this scrap as we can. Try and line it up so it's straight. So that is now 7.5. Is that right? Let me just check again. Check twice, measure twice, cut once. So I want 2 of these at 2.5. Can you hear my brain cogs whirring? They don't look very straight. Deary me. And then we want 2 at 6.5. So let's just see. Look, you can see that's really badly cut. This paper trimmer, I think, you know, is not straight. There we go. That is 6.5. So now 2.5 and 2.5. So you can see, to decorate the box, you don't need very much paper at all. And if you'd got the time and you wanted to do more, you could mat and layer these with some silver sparkle or a bit of black. You know, I like a bit of black, so we'll just glue this on. It's going to be time for another slurp of tea in a minute. But yes, as I was drivelling on, yes, you could make these for any occasion, and if you're making it for somebody in particular, you can match the theme of the tags and the colour to, you know, their preferences. At least it's it looks like a dry morning this morning, because we've had a bit of biblical rain this week where I live. Seems to be one day on of rain, one day off. Make sure we stick this on the right edge. So yeah, to go back to the craft fair makes, if you were making these for craft fairs, I think what I'd do is I would kind of batch make. So I'd maybe make and construct all of my little boxes first, and the covers, because they come out of a sheet of A4. And, you know, if you're using your scraps to decorate and the card, the cost to make these is very low. And I reckon you could probably charge £5 for this. And I've put 6 in my little box that I've already pre-made. But you could probably get 8 or 10 in. Now, because I want this to be strong, I'm going to use collal on this. Making sure I get good coverage there, and we're going to try and center this as best we can on this piece, but butting it up to the spine. So I'm just placing it before I press down to make sure that I'm happy with the placement. And yes, I think I'm happy with that. So, looking at it from that side, collal does give you plenty of wiggle room. Yeah, so I'm going to leave that just to dry for a minute. And we're going to look and see what we're going to put on the front of our box and on the inside. So we did have some ideas that we were going to put these on the front, didn't we? I do like that. You see, that would be just a lovely little image for this little note tag. Yeah, so I'm just going to cut these down. Cut along there. And oh, these Prima, I hadn't even really heard much of Prima Marketing until I started getting things from Cheryl. Yeah. All right, so let's cut you. Do it this way, I can see a bit better. And I'm going to trim it down a little bit, I think, because I'm going to want some of the reindeers to show. So just trimming down a little bit more, and a little bit more down here, I think. Yeah. And then let's have a look at the side. I don't want all of that. Try and balance it up a little bit. I think that will do. So now the question is, do I want to mat on black? I've just got a scrap of black here, or do I want to go with Christmas sparkle? Now I think in my pack here of scraps I have got a little bit of the silver sparkle card that I had a lot of and have used to death. No, I don't think I've got a bit there. Is it in the actual paper pack? No, bear with, because I thought I had got some, but not enough to use. I will be getting rid of some of these little slithers. Oh, look, you see, yeah, there's a tiny bit. Now, I'm really disappointed because I've ordered some more from Hunky Dory that I thought was the same, and it's not. It's like a paper, and it's just completely different. I don't like it, and I ordered £10 worth because I thought it was the same, and it's not. Obviously I'm going to use it. It's lighter weight. This is thicker, more like a card. This is more like a paper. I don't know what the GSM is, but yeah, not happy. So do we want to go silver sparkle, or do we want to go black? Let's have a little look on the front. I think we're going to go silver sparkle. Yeah, because it makes it a little bit more special, doesn't it? So let me just measure this again. So it is roughly 4.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to cut just a smidge more than 5.5, trying to line it up straight. And then a smidge over 4.5. Glue it on. I haven't cut it big enough, so I'm going to cut a bit more off the bottom of my angel here. There we go. It just gives a little bit of something. Oh, I'm quite croaky this morning. Doesn't bode well for having to talk for 3 hours, does it? Well, I haven't got to talk for 3 hours. I've got to teach for 3 hours. And yes, I'm wearing the jumper that I wore when I filmed my Brushos video. If you want to know how to use Brushos, I have a video, which I'll perhaps link at the end of this video. And yes, I had trouble, and yes, I had a Brusho accident and it's not come out. But the beauty of this sweater is that it has got flecks of different colour in it, and it is on the edge of quite a big sleeve that you can't really see. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. And we're just going to place it up a little bit like that, I think, actually, so we can see those deer at the bottom like so. Move it over that way a little bit more. There we go. Then for the inside, let's see what else we've got knocking about here. We said we were perhaps going to use this, didn't we? And I maybe don't want to cut that down quite so much. I'm just going to trim the bottom of that a little bit because we've got a little bit of the previous image on it. There we go. And I'm going to glue this down and then trim and stick that on the inside of the box. So yeah, I have finished my commission that I was battling with, my magazine commission, and it all went off in the post and I met the deadline, and yeah, I'm quite pleased with what I've made, and I can't wait to see what their photos of my makes look like. And obviously I will show you when the magazine is published. And yeah, the editor's out of the office at the moment, but he said he can't wait to see them when he's in the office. And obviously I've sent him the written instructions via email, and he can kind of get a feel for what the projects are going to be, obviously from the instructions. So yeah, I was quite pleased with that. But you know, when something's on your mind and you've got a plan and that plan doesn't work, but Woolly Steph's experiments with air dry clay look, I don't mean experiments in a nasty way, maybe that wasn't the right choice of word, but yeah, Woolly Steph's air dry clay projects look totally awesome. So here we go, I'm going to put this one more centrally inside. So now we can work on the cards. And I think what I'm going to do, because I've been whittering on, I'm going to pause you and show you the cards when I've done. So here are the two finished little boxes. So with the peach tea one, I matted everything in black, And these are the little cards that I made out of scraps. Some are orientated that way, some are that way. But they're so pretty, aren't they? And what a gorgeous little gift for somebody. You could make the box smaller, but I've made my box this size so that I can fit an envelope in. And I can make envelopes to fit with my envelope punch board. So that's that one. And then this is the one that we've made together. And if you have enjoyed this video and you're still here, I'd love it if you gave me a thumbs up and hit that notification bell so that you know when I next upload. And I will be doing Vlogmas. There'll be crafty things happening over Vlogmas. Yes, so do come back. And these are the little cards I've made. I've matted them on black because I just think they pop more. But I could have just easily done it with the silver sparkle card. But the point is to use our scraps, and most of these are made out of scraps of that gorgeous paper from Prima Marketing. I mean, look at that gorgeous little scrap. Lovely little image just in its own right. I know the E's missed off the carriage, but it's using scraps, and we've got the image of the kind of Santa's sleigh. And then a little Christmas rocking horse. So that is that. And yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please, as I say, hit the thumbs up, consider subscribing if you're not already, and I will be back. I'm going to come back with a woolly pod, I think, perhaps tomorrow because it's Sunday, and I will pick up my northeasterly blanket, I think. So do comment down below what you think of this, and I'll be back very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye now.